Good evening, ones and alls. Good morning, good evening, good night. Wherever you are on the globe, greetings in the name of the Most High. I'd like to talk to you about quote unquote excuse for bad behavior. An excuse for bad behavior. Considering everything that the people of this planet have been going through for the last few months, yeah? I would say that people have been behaving pretty darn well, considering the lockdown, infringements on our civil liberties, infringements on our personal freedom and our personal privacy. People have been very well behaved. Considering there's been lack of food, there's in some places there's been lack of protective clothing, lack of masks, lack of testing, lack of genuine testing, uncontaminated test kits, yes? Considering all these things, considering there's news out there that we know that certain nations have been offered large sums of money in exchange for poisoning some of their people, getting rid of the quote-unquote lower classes, getting rid of the quote-unquote undesirables, yeah? Considering all this, considering that Bill Gates, who has never been associated with health, who has never been one to look out for people's well-being, in fact, he spends his millions in quite the opposite, all of a sudden he's the be-all and end-all and the whole world should listen to him in regards to health and vaccines. Since when? Since when? Considering our governments continue to take us for fools, considering all that, I would say the people have been behaving quite well indeed, considering. The streets were empty for a long period of time. Yeah, people behaved very well and are now going about their business as best they can to try to keep the countries going, to keep businesses and economies going so that everything doesn't come to a complete halt, even though we know our governments have stashes of money that they just refuse to let the people have access to, no matter how they're starving, no matter how they're sleeping on the streets, sleeping rough. In major cities, people are sleeping on the streets. That's really damn ridiculous, yes? But regardless of all that, regardless of the fact that people who are risking their lives daily to save other people's lives in the health services, regardless of the fact that they don't even have the protective clothing and the gear that they need to protect themselves so that their children can continue to have parents, regardless of all of that, the people have been behaving pretty darn well. And now we have murders on our hands. Murders by the very people whose wages we pay. Murders by the very people who are supposed to, quote-unquote, protect and serve. And people are not supposed to say anything. We're not supposed to say anything. And if people go to the streets in protest, then it's an excuse. They're using this man's murder as an excuse for violence and for bad behavior. Wow. So when Colin Kaepernick took to his knee, was that what was his excuse? Yeah? When Trayvon Martin was murdered, what was the excuse then? Look man, cut the crap. I don't even remember all the names. I cannot list all the names because there's so many. So many. This has been going on for too long. And you always like to flip the script and put the blame on us. I put it to you, governments of UK, United Kingdom, of United States, of France, of Spain, of China, of all you little people in cahoots. I put it to you that you are the ones using quote-unquote COVID-19 as an excuse. You are the ones using it as an excuse to kill, to murder, to commit genocide on the largest scales I've ever seen, of the largest scales I've ever heard of in all of history, all in one fell swoop. And for what? For monetary gain. And yet you keep trying to spin us these dumb, stupid stories in the media. Today it's this, tomorrow it's that, today it's this, the next day it's something else. You have no clue because there is nothing. Nothing but your excuse to be evil like you always have been. And then you have the nerve to come on television and talk to the nations like you have some kind of moral standing. We should listen to you because what? Because your history proves that you care for the people? No, your history does not prove that. The fact that you still continue to hide history. What happened to the JFK files? Were they not supposed to be open by now? Were they not supposed to be made public property by now? Oh, but you've changed the law again. How is it that when the layman does something, he must be prosecuted to the full extent of the law? And yet, when people that were put into position by people that trusted them, that people who believed their words, why is it that when you guys break the law, the goalpost is moved, the laws are changed? Oh, it's not okay for you to do it, but it's okay for us to do it. Oh, you can't commit murder, but we can. Oh, yes. And we can make millions at the same time. We are not stupid. We are not stupid. An excuse for bad behavior. That is not bad behavior. That is not bad behavior. That is protest. That is frustration. That is pain. That is anger. That is fed upness. That is sick and tiredness. That's what it is. You mean after we all been suffering and been prisoners for so long in our homes, when humanity was starting to, be refreshed and rejuvenated, and people were remembering, oh yeah, this is why I go to work, for my family. I forgot about them because I'm on the plantation so often. My workplace gets the best of me, the most of my hours, the juiciest ideas from my brain. My family just gets the remnants and the leftovers of what's left over at the end of the day or the week or the month. We've all been in this together, except a few who already know that there is nothing. Hence why the police are walking around with no mask, no gloves, or no nothing to go and arrest people to tell them that they're endangering other people's social distancing practices, while they themselves, the police, are endangering you by not adhering to the social distancing laws. Does it make sense? Unless they already know that there ain't no damn virus. But this is their excuse to whoop some more black ass. To murder some more black people. Some non-white people, should I say. These so-called undesirables. And now that line is not just straight down the middle, black and white anymore. That line is poor, you're unemployed, you're not bringing a whole lot of money into the economy. Yeah, you're indispensable. You're old and you don't want to move with the times. You don't want no mobile phone. You don't want to be on the line. You still want to use a telephone? You still want to talk to somebody face to face and actually have a... No, ain't nobody got no time for that. Bitch, get online or get off the planet as far as they're concerned. Get this chip, baby. Get this chip. Or you ain't got no space on the planet. There's too much people on the planet. According to who? How could there possibly be too much people on the planet? When supermarkets, day after day after day, throw away tons of food. How can there be too much people? There's too much greedy people. There's too much wicked people. There's too much selfish people. That's the problem. Too much arrogant assholes who think because they got a PhD, they got the right to tell you who should live and who shouldn't live. How dare you? Do you call yourself educated? How could you be educated and think death and murder is something sensible? If you think there's too much people on the planet, stop dipping in between your woman's legs. Stop laying down and conceiving if you think there are too many people on the planet. Live and let live. And if you don't like it here, you piss off. An excuse for bad behaviour. Tell me this, what is your excuse for coming to our countries over and over again, pillaging, raping. What is your excuse? What is your reason? What is your excuse? Apart from jealousy, apart from deep-seated rage, jealousy, envy, greed, to the point where you'll murder your own mothers and grandmothers for a bit of extra weight in your wage packet. You'll murder the members of families of your work colleagues. To all you NHS staff members who see that things are wrong, who know that your staff, that your superiors are asking you to do things and to sign death certificates with that COVID-19 on there, and you know it isn't really the cause of death, ask yourself why you're doing it. Ask yourself, why did you take the oath? Ask yourself. Remind yourself why you went into medicine. And then ask yourself if all orders are to be followed. And I would ask the same of all those people in the service, be it the Navy, the Army, the police force. Ask yourself, remind yourselves why you went into that line of work. Remind yourselves, take yourselves back to the day when you first joined, how you felt, when you first took your oaths, when you first made your pledges. Remind yourself of what it is you went in there for. And then ask yourself the orders you've been given recently, if they are in alignment with those oaths, those pledges. Ask yourself that question. It's damn ridiculous. As long as the authorities were killing black people alone, nobody gave a damn. Nobody cared. Black Lives Matter. We can't breathe. Nobody gave a damn as long as it was our colour just getting killed at the hands of the police. Now, the police have joined forces with everybody. Your school wants to inject you. Your workplace wants to inject you. Everywhere wants to get a needle into you. And you don't know what the hell is in that needle. All you know is that there are hundreds of thousands of people passing from the planet daily. Do you still trust your governments? Is your flag worth it? The respect that you give your flag, do you get that same respect back? An excuse for bad behaviour. Rodney King could have been an excuse for bad behaviour. Mark Duggan could have been an excuse for bad behaviour. Smiley Culture could have been an excuse for bad behaviour. There are so many names, so many people attached to those names, so many sparks of energy, so many people's sons, so many people's daughters, so many people's fathers and mothers, sisters, cousins, brothers, friends that are no more. And we still haven't burnt down the fucking place yet. So don't chat about an excuse for bad behaviour, because if we want to be bad, we could be very bad. But we're not like you. And it doesn't matter how you push us, we will never be like you. Never. We are not hate. We are not anger. We are not evil. Some of the effects of your causes may make us behave in certain ways because of purposely directed poverty, miseducation, ill medical treatment, places of residence that are barely suitable for animals. And despite that, we still have a smile on our faces. We still walk with our heads up. We still keep picking up the pieces after you shit on our lives, after you bust us up on the street, we're grinding our faces in the floor. We still pick ourselves up and we still keep going, and we still have manners to the next person, and we still don't get bitter and take it out on the rest of the world. And now somebody else is murdered and you're talking about an excuse for bad behaviour. I charge you, governments of this universe, governments of this world, I charge you with using the excuse of this fake COVID-19 as an excuse to be murderers and profit from your murders. I charge you with that charge. We are not fools. And it doesn't matter how many stories you put out in the media. We know you're liars. We know that you are liars. And we know that behind your fake plastic smiles is nothing but pure, unadulterated evil. You shall not have your way. You just shall not. It's unfortunate so many shall have to pass. But I tell you, you shall not have your way. We the people are not fools, and we shall be fooled by you no longer. Spend your money on your leaflets and your pamphlets. Continue to cut down trees, sending out letters and fake news. Continue. You only dig your grave deeper and pile more heaps of coal upon your head. I charge you, Babylon, with crimes of the most atrocious upon humanity, and you shall have your day in the fiery lake.